Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the time has officially arrived. The embargo and the reviews are officially in for Diablo 4. The KFC rewards are shipping into people more and more every day. More hot drama over Twitch in the hardcore competition, and a couple huge tips heading into launch day that personally I didn't even know about. But before we dive in, a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Jawa, and if you're in the market for upgrading a component for your PC, like a new GPU, or if you just need a completely new gaming PC for Diablo 4 in general, you should definitely check out Jawa first. Jawa's mission is to be the community where great gaming gear is sold at reasonable prices between gamers. Jawa directly collaborates with tech experts and creators to connect with your interests. Users can fill out a very short quiz about what type of PC they need, what games they play, and what FPS numbers you want to achieve, and the system will automatically pair them up with a verified seller to create a custom build tailored toward your needs. Jawa not only has a ton of sellers listing graphic cards at a really affordable price, but Jawa will also purchase GPUs directly from their customers. You can even offset the cost of your new GPU upgrade by selling the card that you currently have directly to Jawa in a convenient, fast, and efficient way. With me getting a brand new PC just last week, I'm 100% going to be using Jawa for my computer accessories and components to make it the best build I possibly can. If you want to skip the hassle of researching, buying, and building a gaming PC for yourself, let one of Jawa's verified sellers build one for you by visiting my link in the description to get you started today. Starting things off hot, ladies and gentlemen, we got some big news covering some balance and changes heading into Diablo 4's launch day. It was confirmed on Twitter by Joe Piapiora that there will be a day one patch on the release of early access. A couple of people have been trying to squeeze the specifics out of the situation, asking if it will at least contain balance changes. Joe also responded that it will represent the 1.0 build of Diablo 4 up from the 0.99 build that we had in place for the server slam. You will see balance changes and bug fixes, so a very big deal of things right off the back. Now, it is common that there are day one patches in most video games that get released, but most of them usually contain bug fixes and some last minute fine tuning. But them clearly stating that there is going to be some balance changes has a lot of people wondering exactly what it's going to be. So we're going to have to keep an eye and ear out for that and keep you all updated. The developers also have been getting a ton of questions regarding seasons in Diablo 4 once again. A very common one was, will the season gimmick, whatever that may be at the time, perpetuate on the eternal realm like Path of Exile, or only last this season? Joe replied saying the season theme and mechanic will be retired at the end of each season. Fans were also curious that if non-seasonal characters will be getting new content, or if to experience the brand new season events like gear, battle passes, and in-game events, do you have to be on a seasonal realm? Adam Fletcher replied saying, yes, things like legendary powers and uniques from seasons will transition into the eternal realm after seasons officially end. We also got a clarification from Wowhead displaying a tweet from Joe stating, balance changes, new legendary powers, and unique items will be added to the eternal and seasonal realms at the same time. Seasonal mechanical powers, items, etc. will be retired at the end of the season. So to quickly break this down, ladies and gentlemen, all the seasonal events and brand new things that you encounter with the season from a gameplay perspective, like legendary powers, uniques, and balance changes, will be sticking around. The only thing that's going to be leaving is the actual seasonal events pertaining that specific season, and all of that is going to be retired heading into the season that is going to be replacing that old one. There has been also a bit of spicy drama in the Diablo community over the last few days. One of them is including the Twitch Support a Streamer program, where a ton of content creators are upset at the fact that not every channel was granted the ability to receive 2 Twitch subscriptions of any tier to reward their viewers with the Primal Instinct amount as a reward. It's important to know, ladies and gentlemen, that the drops, which are the cosmetic items that you actually wear on your character, are available for every streamer out there and are absolutely free. All you have to do is watch that streamer that has the drops activated and claim your rewards after 3 hours and 6 hours. Now, personally, I didn't get accepted into the program either, and it is a little bit frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. You know, not even because of a financial perspective, just because the biggest concern that I have is that my personal community might have to go be forced to watch someone else for other streamers instead of sticking around here, which can lead to a lack of viewership on our end. But I mean, at the end of the day, Blizzard is saying that this isn't their direct fault, and it has a lot to do with Twitch on the backhand. Nevertheless, though, it is causing a major drama in the community right now, and a lot of the smaller creators, like myself, are a bit hurt by it more than anything, considering we are generating millions of views toward the game. And if that wasn't enough, unless you've been living under a rock lately, Blizzard did announce the Diablo 4 hardcore leveling contest, where the first 1,000 players to reach level 100 on hardcore and show their proof over Twitter, you actually get your battle tag engraved on a physical large statue of Lilith over at Blizzard HQ, which honestly is a really cool thing. This, though, also caused a major rampage in the community, not from just content creators, but through everybody, to be honest. The reason being was that a lot of people who got access to play the endgame version of the game and review it for roughly a little over a week would have a ginormous advantage in the race if they already knew what was coming. It's pretty much like you're heading into your final exam, but you got a cheat sheet of the whole test, so you know exactly what to study for. You know exactly how to prep. I'm sure all of you have seen the big Rod Ferguson meme saying that how does deleting all their progress and making them start at the same time as everyone give them an unfair advantage? I don't really know if that was a joke or if he was being serious, but either way, it was a bit inappropriate and not right at this time, or just simply went right over his head. And a lot of people were stressed out and severely worried about it. This also outraged a ton of people over Twitter and YouTube, and it was actually led to some major drama, and Blizzard was pretty much forced to make a change about it. That's right, because they officially announced the Diablo 4 reviewers are not eligible for the hardcore race to level 100 contest. Even the players over at Maxroll made a statement saying that they wouldn't want to receive the rewards anyways if they won, because they even thought it was a severe advantage. But nevertheless, though, ladies and gentlemen, anyone playing the early review of Diablo 4 is officially not eligible for the reward of getting your name engraved at the Lilith statue at Blizzard. Also, just as we were saying the last couple weeks, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the KFC rewards, they officially arrived on May 29th. And as you can see, some members from the Comeback Kids community are going crazy already and bought all of their chicken sandwiches for the cosmetics. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Diablo 4 partnered with KFC to give you in-game cosmetics, and you are now able to purchase a sandwich or a sandwich combo meal through the KFC website or KFC app to receive your first code. Then you'll be able to link your KFC accounts to your Battle.net account to redeem the code for the in-game cosmetic rewards. The event lasts until July 2nd, and you have to purchase the reward not in the restaurant. It also says you must be 18 years or older, which I thought was kind of funny. I don't really know what that's about. So if you all want these exclusive rewards you're seeing on screen here, go to that KFC app, start ordering those chicken sandwiches. It also looks like there's a brand new giveaway for a Diablo 4 Stein. Diablo's Twitter account is giving away a really cool Stein to 2 lucky winners, and all you have to do is draw the class you're going to be playing at launch day and drop it in the replies for a chance to win this super awesome mug. By the way, if you aren't selected as one of the 2 winners, don't be upset, because you could still purchase this super awesome mug on the Blizzard Gear store for as little as $200 US, which is really no big deal for a Diablo 4 fanatic like yourself. Coming in hot with the big headline of today, ladies and gentlemen, the embargo for Diablo 4 is officially lifted and the reviews are in. IGN stating that the game has a near-perfect endgame and progression design that makes it absolutely excruciating to put down. The story is a disappointment despite still being a noticeable improvement over Diablo 3, and there are some annoying bugs that need squashing. But the combat, the loot of the game, and both the sights and sounds of this world are impressive enough to smooth over those rough edges. That, and amongst other careful and reverent paths, has shaped this massive sequel into one of the most polished ARPGs to ever be created. Game Informer stated that completing the campaign only made me hungrier to take my beefed up character into the substantial post-game, from which I played, succeeds and offers fun, rewarding tests of my power. I also had a great sweat-inducing time completing the capstone dungeon to unlock World Tier 3, which includes Hell Tides, Nightmare Dungeons, and overall tougher challenges. Game Rant saying that players will have to come to terms with the fact that the story being told is rather linear, and there aren't really any choices that can drastically change the story in any way. Pretty much stating that most games nowadays give you the opportunity to change the narrative to help make the player feel like they actually have an effect on the world and the decisions out there as well. Stating that Blizzard could have made a larger branching style story, but instead chose to send the player through the adventure they wanted to tell. Stating that new users of the genre might feel a little lost with all the name dropping and callbacks to previous games, but it isn't hard to pick up the general gist of the world's history and enjoy what is just presented in Diablo 4. Now, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, there are dozens upon dozens of reviews out there from YouTubers, big-name game companies, and generally just fans and players of the genre. So you have to understand a lot of people are going to have a lot of different opinions when it comes to a really well-funded AAA game like Diablo 4. I mean, some people are going to love the fact that it's multiplayer and completely open world, and other people are really going to hate the idea that they can't just play single player and alone, and it's turned into this MMO-esque type of game. I think it's really important to know what type of player you are and what you are looking for in a Diablo game or ARPG like this one. Because listen, ladies and gentlemen, whether we want it or not, Blizzard is always going to progress toward what is the nature of gaming nowadays with, you know, the battle passes being implemented as well as full-on multiplayer, skins, etc. So are you going to be willing to deal with all those things, or are you just too mature for all that nonsense and would rather just stick to a classic RPG? I think either way, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest thing about Diablo is that you could truly play whatever way you want. If you want to just keep remaking characters to try out new builds and speed run, you could do that. If you want to just PvP and be a collector and explore the world and collect things, you could do that too. No matter what, I think it's important to know that Diablo 4 can be played however you want and it's catered to the player. So just try to keep that in mind when it comes to looking at these review videos. We also got a very huge legendary aspect tip from a user on Reddit for finding your legendary aspect dungeon out in the world super easily. They say that I feel like most players didn't notice you don't need a map for finding your dungeon. Within the Codex of Power, you can actually choose to track that legendary aspect, which will path you to the dungeon directly. It is just like tracking a quest, so just look into the Codex, pick the aspect you want, and let it lead you. You know, usually Reddit is just flooded with people being super negative or complaining about the game, so getting an actual useful tip from there is actually quite shocking. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it's super important to grab those legendary aspects and place them on your gear, you know, pretty much as soon as you can for a ginormous power spike. So get into that Codex of Power, find what legendary aspects you need, and track it and go hunt them down as soon as you can. Also, when it comes to that pesky Paragon board at the end game, listen up because we might have a tip for you. A user on Twitter asked why so many people are creating builds with so many Paragon boards, up to 9 of them. Is it intended that people are creating such builds without using the legendary tiles just because glyphs are much more powerful? Joe replied saying this largely depends on your build, but it's not impossible that a character can make use of 4+ legendary nodes. The power of a well-upgraded and planned glyph cannot be overstated, though. This has been something we've been seeing a lot over the last few weeks from a lot of people in the Comeback Kids community, creating builds strictly going after as many glyphs as they possibly can, because if you use them to their max effectiveness, they can be very powerful in enhancing your build. Obviously, no one knows what the absolute best choice is going to be right now. Even those early reviewers, they only played the game for a certain amount of time. So we're going to have to wait until the end game and a lot of testing and a lot of theory crafting and prepping. So we just wanted to give you a heads up that this might very well be the meta in terms of build creation. Another very big request from players over on the PC was that can Diablo 4 support WASD movement? And honestly, a lot of them were a bit sad about it not being implemented. I will say though that because of people complaining and requesting it so much, the developers are actually taking notice of this. Rod Ferguson replied saying there is no WASD support on PC, but we are very aware of the feedback, and in the meantime, I hope you give controller support a shot. Now, if I had to place a bet, I would say they're definitely going to implement it sometime in the future, because usually whenever the developers are not really going to implement something or they don't really want to, they just simply flat out say it. They say something like, there are no plans for it currently, we haven't even thought of something like that, maybe we'll look into it sometime in the future. So honestly, this is a big step forward in my opinion, them sounding so enthusiastic about it. We also got some very crucial pre-launch advice, ladies and gentlemen, that if you actually haven't pre-ordered the Diablo 4 game, there is still going to be plenty of time for your rewards on that. The deadline to pre-order Diablo 4 is going to be anytime before June 5th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So if you were waiting for those early reviews, or if you're still hesitant on looking at gameplay, be sure to check out some videos and articles online for that as well. It's also announced that the preload is officially up and running as well, so before we all rush into Sanctuary tomorrow, please do yourself a favor and preload your Diablo 4 game. You don't want to be the guy downloading the game while all your friends are inside having fun. Don't forget, also make sure you have your drivers updated, and you can very easily do this through the GeForce Experience app. It's literally as simple as clicking a button. It's very straightforward. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. It's officially over and the time is done. I'm so glad I've been on this journey for you all and making this content with everyone. I know it's been a little bit stale with, you know, being nothing but news videos, but either way, we officially made it to launch day. I really hope we brought you some entertainment and, you know, things that you enjoy heading into the Diablo 4 launch. And we really hope you could stick around for the long run of the content creation journey with us. We have an absolute ton of giveaways lined up on gaming gear and a bunch of videos that are going to be posted every single month, like guides, builds, news, big events for all things Diablo. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. It truly is a pleasure to be making content for you all. Until the very end, my name is Sky from the Comeback Kids, and I will see you in the fields of hatred. Peace.